Well, folks, welcome back to another episode of Forgin' Fridays. And, we're back looking at some more decks here. We're actually switching back to, the last few we've done have been commander decks, but we're going to a modern deck now. Something that I've been working on, putting together. I haven't even bought it in paper yet, but you folks get to take a look at it before I even build it in paper. Aren't you guys lucky? And of course we're looking at Forge here, the open source Magic the Gathering rules engine. Lets you play single player. See, there's some online play. Online play is a little buggy, firewalls and all that. But let's jump into it. Let's take a look at the deck I'm working on here, and it's elementals. It's a bunch of elemental creatures, and the inspiration for this is actually I played against an AI opponent, and the AI opponent had a deck that was sending out these Lightning Skelementals. And you can see right here, a black and 2 red for a creature elemental skeleton. It's a 6/1, and it has trample, haste, and whenever Lightning Skelemental deals combat damage to a player, that player discards 2 cards. At the beginning of the end step, sacrifice Lightning Skelemental. So it would send out these Lightning Skelementals, and then it's a 6 power creature with trample and haste, and that alone, I think there's Ball Lightning, kind of similar. I think it's 3 red for the same thing. Trample, haste, 6/1, sacrifice the end of step. But Lightning Skelemental also has the discard 2 cards if it hits you, if it does any combat damage to you. So it 6/1 alone, the 6 damage trample haste would be enough to make Lightning Skelemental pretty serious, because the AI is gonna want to block, and anybody will want to block it. But because it has trample, if they don't have 6 toughness on the field and you get through with even a single point of damage on the opponent, they have to discard 2 cards, which puts them way behind. So that's and what the AI was doing when it was playing this deck, it also had these Thunderkin Awakeners. That's 1 and 1 red, another elemental for a 1/2. It has haste, and whenever a Thunderkin Awakener attacks, choose target elemental creature card in your graveyard with toughness less than Thunderkin Awakener's toughness. Return that card to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Sacrifice it at the end of at the beginning of the next end step. So you play your Lightning Skelemental, or you discard it somehow to hand size. I don't think I have anything that actually discards things besides hand size. It's here, and you play your Thunderkin Awakener, and you swing in with Thunderkin Awakener. He alone is only 1 damage, so it doesn't really matter that much. But you can, because Lightning Skelemental is only 1 toughness, you can bring it back to the field and have it have it attack whenever you attack with Thunderkin Awakener. So the AI has to choose: do I block and kill Thunderkin Awakener, assuming they have something to block with, or do I try to absorb some of the 6 damage that Lightning Skelemental is going to be doing? Those are kind of the big the inspiration for this deck is swinging in with Lightning Skelemental, then resurrecting it consistently with Thunderkin Awakener. Other cards we have in here, just to kind of fill out the field, we have the Flamekin Harbinger. Flamekin Harbinger, 1 red for a 1/1 elemental, and it says when Flamekin Harbinger comes into play, you may search your library for an elemental card, reveal it, and shuffle your library and put that card onto the top of it. So you can use that to grab your Lightning Skelemental, your Thunderkin Awakener. Beyond that, we also run Unsettled Mariner, 2 of them. It's a white and a blue, a shapeshifter. He's 2/2, and he's changeling, so he's every creature type. So he's also an elemental. And he says, whenever you or a permanent you control becomes a target of a spell or an ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless that controller pays 1, so some protection for our stuff. We also run Voice of Resurgence, some more protection here. Voice of Resurgence, a green and a white for an elemental, 2/2. And it says, whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, or when Voice of Resurgence dies, create a green and white elemental creature token with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of to the number of creatures you control. I was going to say elements because we only run elements in this deck. So it's apparently equal to the number of creatures. And believe me, we're going to have a lot of creatures out on the field. And this is great for, if you're, I had a case where I think I just had a Voice of Resurgence and I had a bunch of 1/1s or 2/2s, and the opponent had some kind of big block or something, and they decided to, on my turn, cast a spell that was going to target Voice of Resurgence or something else, and boy was that a mistake for them, because then I suddenly had, like a 12/12 or something crazy. So these things, and I'll even swing in with even though it's 2/2, I'll swing in with the Voice of Resurgence, because if it gets blocked and dies, then we get this big elemental creature out on the field. So Voice of Resurgence, pretty solid include. And we also run a Foundation Breaker that's 3 and a green for an element 2/2. Has Evoke, which means you pay its Evoke cost and you sacrifice it right after you play it, which is 1 and a green. And it says, when Foundation Breakers enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. It's good to use occasionally. If there's some problematic thing on the field that you gotta blow up that's not a creature, you can use Foundation Breaker. Fulminator Mage, 1 and a red or a black, and it's a 2/2 elemental. You see a lot of these elementals are actually 2/2, except for Flamekin over here. He can sacrifice to destroy target non-basic land. Do that to get rid of, say, if you're trying to protect your own lands from oh boy, what is the wasteland or something. You can use this to get rid of it. Or you can use the target, say, what is it, Inkmoth Nexus? Something, maybe your opponent only has a bunch of lands, and then they're turning their Inkmoth Nexus and attached a bunch of equipment to it. You can blow up the Inkmoth Nexus with the Fulminator Mage. We run some Vesperlark, that's 2 and a white, also has Evoke for 1 and a white. It's 2/1 for flying creature. When Vesperlark enters the battlefield, return target creature card with power 1 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. I haven't had that enter the battlefield effect particularly useful. I guess you could use that to target Thunderkin Awakener or Flamekin Harbinger. I've generally found it more useful as just having it out on the field as an elemental to count for Voice of Resurgence and a flyer to block, a flying creature that the opponent has. I've also, just to add a little bit of flair to the deck, I do include what I like to call the Omnath twins, and you can't read. Unfortunately, the version chosen here has no text, but I think I can remember what Omnath Locus of Creation does. He's a red, a green, a white, and a blue for a 4/4 elemental. And I believe he says when a land... So when he comes into play, you draw a card. And whenever a land comes into play on your turn, or whenever a land comes into play, if it's the first time, you gain 4 life. If it's the second time, you add red, green, white, and blue to your mana pool. And if it's the third time, then it does, I believe, 3 damage, 4 damage, I forget if it's 3 or 4, to each opponent. And then after that, it doesn't do anything. It'll trigger, but it won't. After your first 3 lands on a turn, it won't do anything after that. Still pretty great for, adding some ramp, adding some life gain. Life gain always appreciated. He's a 4/4, so he's kind of a bit chunkier than some of the other creatures we have. And we also have Omnath, Locus of the Roil. 1 a green, a blue, and a red for a 3/3 elemental. And he has, when Omnath, Locus of the Roil enters the battlefield, it deals damage to any target equal to the number of elementals you control. So obviously we're going to have a bunch of those out, and we're going to be doing a bunch of damage. And it says, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on target elemental you control. If you control 8 or more lands, draw a card. I don't think I've ever done that. I don't think I've ever noticed that I drew a card. And maybe you'll find out why I never noticed that in a moment. But I do want to mention this 1/1 counter ability is pretty nice for generally the thing I'll target is the Thunderkin Awakener. Because you notice it says return. You can choose target elemental creature card in your graveyard with toughness less than Thunderkin Awakener's toughness. So if you put those 1/1 counters on Thunderkin Awakener, you can start returning things beyond our Lightning Skelemental and our Thunderkin Awakener. You could say return another Thunderkin Awakener, or a Voice of Resurgence if you just put 1/1 on it. Or you make it, you could make it beefy enough where, you don't have to worry about, if you get it to say, 5 power, 6 toughness or something, then it becomes a bit harder for our opponent to block it and kill it. So we can keep swinging with it and keep resurrecting our Lightning Skelemental. And some more protection. We run 2 Ephemerates. I don't know why this is the Japanese version of this. It has basically blink a creature you control, and then at the beginning of the next turn you can blink another creature you control. You can recast it. That can actually, I don't think I've ever done it, but if you swing in with Thunderkin Awakener, resurrect, say an Omnath if it gets big enough, or a Flamekin Harbinger, you can actually target it with Ephemerate after the attack step if it lives, and it will stay in play because Thunderkin's Awakener, the sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step will refer to the previous instance of it, so you get to keep it. Some more protection, 2 Oblivion Rings. It's 2 and a white. It says when Oblivion Ring enters the battlefield, exile another target non-land permanent. When Oblivion Ring enters when Oblivion Ring leaves the battlefield, return the exile card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Get rid of some troubled permanents. As far as mana fixing, we run a bunch of, Arid Mesas. We run a few basic lands here. I don't think we actually run a swamp, which I might consider swapping these cards out for an actual swamp. Run some Triomes, run some dual lands, the Secluded Courtyard and Primal Beyond let us use mana, basically generate mana of any color to cast our elements. We also run Smokebraider here, 1 and a red for a 1/1. It has tap, add 2 mana of any combination of colors to your mana pool. Spend this mana to only cast elemental spells or activate the ability of elementals. You know, kind of mana fixing. I don't generally have. I think maybe black is kind of hard to get in this deck, but I generally am able to cast the Lightning Skelemental when I want to. And to help that, also we run 4 Aether Vials. That's 1 for a artifact that says at the beginning of your upkeep you may put a charge counter on Aether Vial. And it says tap. You may put a creature card of mana value equal to the number of charge counters on Aether Vial from your hand onto the battlefield. So that's great for, you know, if you don't have the right color mana, you know, you can cast an Unsettled Mariner or Lightning Skelemental if you have the right number of charge counters on Aether Vial. Good to get out there early. Late game, not particularly useful. But I'll usually only bump these up to, as you can probably tell, you have a bunch of 2s, you have a bunch of 3s. I'll usually bump it up to 3, just because, you know, you can cast a thing and it's and you save 3 mana whenever you use it. And I'll stop adding counters to the Aether Vial after 3. Next choice, if I got a second Aether Vial, I'd probably only bump it up to 2. 4s, we only have 3 4s, and by the time you get to that part of the game where you cast it, you already have the lands you need to be able to do it. And then, well, 1s are not that hard to cast. You have plenty of mountains and things to generate red mana, so yeah, I would say 2s and 3s is where you want them. And you'll notice I haven't talked about one card yet. This is the surprise, I would say, bomb card for this deck. The big baddie. If you are playing against this deck and you see a Risen Reef, destroy that Risen Reef. I don't think when I was playing against this deck, I don't think it really occurred to me how powerful Risen Reef is. So Risen Reef is 1 colorless, 1 green, 1 blue for a 1/1 elemental. And it says, whenever Risen Reef or another elemental enters the battlefield under your control, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tab. If you don't, put that card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand. So this is a pretty crazy card, because if you have a Risen Reef, you play it, you look at the top card of your library. If it's land, you just ramped. If it's not a land, you just had card draw, and then you play a Flamekin Harbinger, you draw another card, or play another land. So you'll have these turns where you have a Risen Reef, maybe 2 Risen Reefs out, and you play some of these, you know, 2 mana elementals, 1 mana elemental, and then you draw a card, and you draw another card, play a land, play another, you know, so you're playing all these lands, drawing all these cards, and the next turn you have all those lands on the field, you can play even more elementals, draw even more cards, play even more lands, and it just snowballs so quickly when you have 1 or 2 Risen Reefs. I would actually suggest in this deck, do not play more than 2 Risen Reefs. Because you can easily draw your entire deck. You will deck yourself out if you have 3, or Lord help you, if you have 4 Risen Reefs on the field. And it's not a Mage trigger, by the way. You will draw that card or play that land. I would I think this, you know, and you'll notice I didn't include many of the expensive evoke elementals from Modern Horizon 2, I think it was. You know, the Solitude. I think that Solitude was really recommended for this deck, but I think what this deck really wants more is an Endurance, which is the green evoke elemental that says that target player puts all the cards from their library into their deck. And because as you're you know, or maybe you want maybe a reliquary tower in here so that you can actually hold a lot of your cards, because you'll see as we go through it. But let's jump into it. I've been playing with this deck for a bit, and I'm getting ready to. Oh, see, I didn't even talk about our commander, or not commander, our companion here, Khalid the Orphanguard, which is a green and a white, a green and another green and white for a 3/2, and we have to have all elementals, cats, nightmares, dinosaurs, or beasts in our deck, and we have that, so we get to use them. He has vigilance, and each other creature you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. So a nice little extra card there. Oh boy, we have a bunch of lands and things. Oh, but we have a Lightning Skelemental. I think we're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep this, and yeah, I think we have enough to. Yeah, we have. Oh no, we don't have quite the right amount of mana. We don't have any black, so we're gonna need an Aether Vial. Ooh, do you want to play that? What is he needs a white and a blue. Well, this is our only untapped white. Let's play. We did take a damage for it, but it's worth it to get that Aether Vial out there early. In the next turn, we can play the Unsettled Mariner. I think, right? We need a blue too. Oof, I should have just played the Triome. All right. Yep. Voice of Resurgence. I think I should have a green and a white. Yeah, we'll do that. I'll take a damage. We didn't take a damage? Oh, we did take a damage. It just knew. I didn't realize I did. Alright, whatever. Let's see. Green, white, a Voice of Resurgence. Okay. That's fine. I don't really need to attack with it. Add another. And we do not have enough for let's do this. We'll play the Triome. We'll Aether Vial out. Unsettled Mariner. We'll play this other Aether Vial. I think it's a bit tricky here. I think if we... Oh! It's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, that's the number here. So we want to increment 3. Okay. So next turn... Actually, we need to increment both of them anyway. Okay. No, we don't need to. Did I play land already? I did. But it's gonna be getting a bit tricky the next turn. We only want to increment 3 and not this other one. Okay. Attacks. Increment that. Increment that. Ooh, and an Omnath. Ooh la la. Well, let's play the Skelemental. Play the Skelemental. White, green, red. Looks like the blue. So we'll play red, and then let's see if we can play this Omnath. Red, green, white. Take the damage and blue. And now we got that Omnath. We got 2 lands for next turn, so we can start gaining some life back. And let's see, we'll swing in with this Lightning Skelemental, obviously. And you can see already we only hit with 1, and now we're we just took out one of his creatures, right? I think he had to sacrifice one. And now he lost 2 cards because of that. You can see as soon as you start getting those Lightning Skelementals out, it becomes a problem for them real fast. So we only want to increment. Okay. I'm gonna now because of Voice of Resurgence, we're gonna get something big now. Or not? Did we? Oh, we just tapped it. No. And then we want to increment that one. Ooh, and another Lightning Skelemental. So let's do this. Now we'll gain some life. And let's Aether Vial. Aether Vial out this fella. Let's get this guy into our hand. If you don't remember the rules update they did, you have to pay 3 to get your companion into your hand, so we can't use it this turn. Unfortunately, I guess. Well, I could have used the charge on it, but I'd rather get out that Skelemental. Let's swing in with it. And yeah, I think it has a shield counter, so it's not going to die, but there's another 5 damage. Has to discard that other card. Ooh. It's not looking good for him. Okay. 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 And then we're not gonna increment anymore. Like I said, you probably want them at 2 or 3. Okay. 4 life. Say, why did this come into play tapped? Oh, because I can't actually reveal an elemental. Okay, well, let's green, white, and then whatever. And now everything has vigilance. Let's swipe in with these fellas. There's down to 3. No. We'll swipe in with these fellas. This thing is now a tap target creature. He doesn't even have enough to do anything. Okay. That's it. Pretty simple. I do want to get one with with those Risen Reefs though, because once you see those Risen Reefs, you can see how it really starts to pop off. Okay. Let's play Misty, and then we'll get something with a mountain on it. Forest Mountain should be good. Nah, we need to pay. This island, and then we'll play Smokebraider. Oh boy, they're playing a bunch of stuff. You know what? We're gonna play some stuff too. Get ready. What should I? Do that. Oh, I need to pay a red. Okay. Yeah, we'll play that. And swing in with it. Maybe we only get a token, but guess what? He loses two cards now. And I think I am gonna play this fella here. And next turn we'll resurrect him. Take the damage. I guess I could have blocked this guy. Oh. He gives Death Touch. That's no good. I think Voice of Resurgence is probably what we want now. We haven't really started to snowball, unfortunately. I'm still waiting for us to start to really go crazy here. Let's swing in with this fella. Get back this guy. And do another 5 damage. Yep. Oh. That's scary. Yeah, I guess I'll take the 4. That's fine. Oh boy, this is he's gonna be in a lot of trouble now. Because now, unfortunately, he's gonna get 2 of these guys coming at him. And we'll bring back that one. Cat's getting excited about it. And that's some other recursion. I'm sad we didn't. Yeah, I was hoping to get some Risen Reefs out there, and then you could really see the magic happen. But I think we're gonna have to call it there. The cat is agitated. She's been like, "You've been playing too long. This is supposed to be a shorter one." You're right. You're right, cat. So we're gonna call it there. I'm gonna jump off now, and I'll catch you on the next one for another episode of Forging Fridays.